First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. I appreciate you all being here with us. We broadcast live on our social media channels. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on our apps, we're on our website. So lots of places that you can find us, and appreciate you being here for that. So we get to talk about a lot of interesting things here on this show all over the board. But right now, we're going to touch on Bigfoot, and that is because there is a new movie that is out streaming right now that was filmed here in the area, and we have the director and the lead both joining us right now for Summoning the Spirit. Let's go ahead and bring them on to talk about this. We've got John Garcia, we've got Crystal Millie Moore. Both of you, thank you so much for being here with this. Obviously, I know this is a big day because it's out streaming all over the place from what I understand, and I'll have you talk about that, so appreciate you taking some time to talk to us. But let's start off with this. Tell us how this movie started. What was the initiation to go down this road to make this movie?
Okay, so yeah, I started writing this with my friend Zach during the pandemic. We're both Bigfoot, fans of sorts. It's hard to avoid Bigfoot, of course, in the Pacific Northwest. You see the statues, you see the bumper stickers. It's just kind of everywhere. Ever since I moved out here in 2005, I've been hearing stories about sightings and whatnot. And during the pandemic, we just started writing the story, threw it back and forth, and then eventually became there was these two ideas about one was a cult and the other was a story about Bigfoot, and we combined these two subgenres to make this movie ultimately about a cult that worships Bigfoot. And a couple from Miami, for which Crystal is the lead, who plays Carla, that moved next door to the cult, and then trouble ensues. And so that's how it started.
I mean, a cult and Bigfoot, that is the perfect Northwest combination right there. I mean, this is the right place for that. So that's awesome. You were writing this, but I mean, it's one thing to have this idea and just like start writing it during the pandemic. A lot of people were doing that, like kind of coming up with different things in the pandemic. We're all trying to stay busy, but you took this to the next level though. So what was it like taking this and then actually going out and having this produced? Like, how did you go about that route?
Yeah, well, I mean, our producers are from Miami. This is a pretty cool collaboration of Miami and Portland coming together, and also, behind the camera, like Latin representation, myself as a Garcia, our producers, Carla Berkowitz and William Fernandez. It was pretty cool, to have a Latin infused horror film like this that happens to be about Bigfoot. We worked together pretty fast. Once I met, Crystal, I knew like I'd found the right person. We were looking for our lead all over America, pretty much, and I was looking for somebody who had the skills, who could speak Spanish, and we found her. We found Ernesto, and also Jesse Tea, who I'd worked with on a film I also made here called Lose. So it came together pretty quickly, and of course, when things started opening back up, I just, I hadn't made a movie in 2 years, and I was just ready to jump back in, and surprisingly or not surprisingly, people love Bigfoot, right? And so it just seemed like a lot of people wanted to be a part of this. So it wasn't hard to put together. Once we started throwing the word Bigfoot around, people were really excited to help us out.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Well, Crystal, let's talk about how you got involved in this. So you hear about this movie about Bigfoot. What was your first thought?
I wasn't sure what I was getting into, and specifically was told it was about a cult that worships Bigfoot, and hey, you're going to live in the other side of the country, and I'm from Miami, and was like, okay, let's do this thing. I get to be a final girl. Never done that before. Super exciting. So let's do it. And I'm really glad I took the leap and that John trusted me with this project. It's been so fulfilling and was a challenge and was fun, and I feel like I grew a lot as an artist with this experience as well, so it was nice.
Well, you mentioned being the final girl in a horror movie. Had you ever done anything in the horror genre before?
No. So I'm classically trained in theater, and I stuck to theater for like 8 years, and I started getting into film, and I finally took the leap, and this is my first bigger feature, and I didn't expect it to be horror, but I'm not surprised because I can cry a lot on screen and off, and I could totally do the horror thing. So it was really, really fun. And my first day on set, my first scene was just me cuddling Bigfoot. And I was like, okay, we're in it. We're just doing this now. Let's go. It was just.
Yeah, it was a nice way to like enter into the Bigfoot world, right? Into our film, right? Cuddling Bigfoot to start off with. And Greg, I also wanted to mention, because I told her I mentioned it today on the news, but we shot this over at Pendarvis Farm, where they just held Pickathon, and so in that place, the moment we saw that farm, it was almost like it was created. You know, it had this like Blair Witch aspect to it, you know, and we loved it, and it was incredible to film there. It was of course really hard. We had a hike inland, a lot, in and around miles a day, but that farm, it was just an incredible place, a magical place. And it was kind of cool to go back this past weekend for Pickathon and kind of relive some of those memories, because I'd never been to Pickathon. So I'd never actually seen what it was, what it actually is, and it was crazy. It was really, really cool to go back there.
I mean, that's amazing just how versatile, they've created that place. You could have this giant concert, you could film a movie, you could do all that stuff out there and utilize it. And it really is just such a Northwest feel. It's a quintessential Northwest feel. Crystal, let me ask you, was this your first time coming to Oregon?
Yes.
So
yeah,
what
it was my first time going. Yeah.
What was your first thought when you came to Oregon for the first time?
I loved it. I fell in love with Portland specifically, and I loved being in the woods. I love that my job was just to get to be in nature and be an actor professionally and do what I love. I wish I could live there. I sincerely wish I could live in Portland. The people were awesome. The food was awesome, and just getting to be out in nature like that, because I love the beach, but that's as much nature as I can get around here. So it was good for me in here too. I'm really grateful for it.
Well, I should say the randomness, meeting people in Portland, because just behind the scenes, I happened to be at a bar, I think when all of you were done filming. I didn't even know what the movie was. It was just like, okay, all these people are wandering in to the same bar I was at. And I think you had just got done shooting, or I don't know if it was your last day, or
yes,
everybody was celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
it
like,
was
what?
The rap.
It was the rap. Okay, yeah, because everybody seemed to be in a really good mood. And, it was awesome. Yeah, but I mean, that's how things can happen here in Portland, though. That's like random connections like this, and then today I'm like, oh, now I'm interviewing some of the people that I met. So that's so cool. So
for sure.
Let's talk about the movie itself, though, because I've got some footage here. I've got some trailers and some different things that you sent over. Walk us through maybe, what it is that we're seeing here, what people can expect from this movie.
Right. So that's the cult, the mountain people. Of course, on Pendarvis, that's our wonderful Bigfoot suit that was lent to us by Greg Hale, the producer of the Blair Witch in the '90s. He was a consultant on this film and was a part of this film. Beautiful suit. We're so lucky to have it. It cost more than our movie, our entire movie. That suit. That is Celeste, played by Isabel Mathia. She was amazing, just an amazing actress. That's me in the right hand corner. You see me? And that's
sorry, I should have slowed this down so I can get it. But
no, this is fun. Anyway, or I could just slow down, but
No.
Yeah, but so much wonderful talent in this film. I'd worked with Ernesto right there before. Lacey Todd, who you just saw, was the producer, assistant director, and also starred in the movie. She wore 3 hats in this thing, which was absolutely just so impressive. We had this is a low budget independent feature. I mean, we try to make it look and feel as big as we could. But it was a small team, a hardworking team. We didn't have a lot of time. We didn't have a lot of money. But we had a lot. There was a lot of heart on that team, and we all loved being there. I'd worked with a lot of these people before, some for the first time. Working with Miami folks and Portland folks was just a dream. It was just a dream to bring that together. This is a short little clip that we did. This is when Celeste and Carla meet for the first time. Celeste, with the curly hair, she's hitchhiking, and she picks her up, and they start talking about the forest and this elusive creature they call the spirit, which in our film is the Sasquatch, and our Sasquatch is female. And so, yeah, this is when they meet, and she's given her a ride to the farm, and the farm is where the cult, the mountain people, live. And slowly and surely, Carla, played by Crystal, she gets to know the mountain people, and she's very taken by them. She's very, she's very endeared by them. It's so different from what she's going through. And her and Dean, played by Ernesto Reyes, are both grieving, and I think she's looking for an outlet. She's looking for something, and she finds it when these mountain people that have these, like, this sort of ethereal sort of perspective on things that she's looking for.
I mean, that's a lot going on right there. Just walking through all of that, and there's so much depth. Like, Crystal, how did it feel for you taking on this role?
It was daunting when I first got it. I was really, really scared. But I trusted John, and I trusted the process, and I'm really grateful that I was able to get through it in a way that made me feel really confident in this medium now. So now I love doing film, and I want to do this for the rest of my life, and it's honestly because of John. So it was a great experience. Definitely. It was scary, but it was a lot to take on, but I also knew I could do it, which was pretty fun to be like, that click of like, no, we're going to do this. I'm going to cry in this forest for 12 hours today. I'm going to be screaming, and there's going to be a lot of violence. And we're going to actually make this movie happen. And as we got closer to wrapping, you caught us in our happiest moment, I feel. Yeah. It was like, it was exhilarating to see that we actually made it. It was so fulfilling. Yeah.
It was really hard, Greg. All these projects are, but this was, we had a lot of things standing in our way to make this movie. And, they say that making a movie is a miracle, and this one is definitely was. And so by the time you saw us, we just thought we just pulled off something triumphant, so it was a win, and I always tell the story about Crystal, as an actress. I mean, I don't shy away from saying she's one of the most, if not the most, profoundly talented actress and actor I've ever worked with, and there was this, one time we were about to go on a break, and I think Crystal was ready to do the scene now, but we needed, the crew wanted a little break, and so Crystal stood there for about maybe 10 or 20 minutes, just kind of holding in the emotion, holding her place as an actress, and just stood there on her mark while everybody went to the craft services table, did this or that, took smoke breaks, whatever. She stood there and held it until we shot that scene 20 minutes later, and she nailed it. And that was kind of the story of working with Crystal, just very like, very, very, very much a student and professional of the craft. So it was just a joy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, it was a joy working with you too, sweet friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned, it's a miracle to get a movie made. How long was this production? Like, how long were you filming for this, I guess, to start off?
Sure. About 23 days, I think, exactly is how long we filmed it. And of course, it took about a year to finish the script, and about 2.5-3 months of pre-production. We finished it October the 6th, and we were done with the movie, like the edit and everything. We were done by, I believe, March 1st, and then today we're coming out August 8th. Is that what today is? And so it almost a year of from principal photography all the way to distribution, which is pretty quick for
I was gonna say that seems pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, it does. I mean, for a small company like myself, I need, as an independent, I need to make a movie a year to kind of stay afloat, kind of keep royalty checks coming in. I made 11 features here in Portland, all low budget, under $200,000 films, and it's just, I try to make a movie a year, and so I try to move as quickly as possible. That usually means I'm like working till 2 a.m. editing the film, if I am editing, writing, so all the things we need to do to get a film out. And at this point, I've done it so many times. I've made 11 features here in Portland that I've kind of, I've got the whole process down. So it's just and I love it. I love the speed at which we work. And I feel like it's fleeting. It's not fleeting, but I feel like it's good to capture, inspiration when it hits, when it happens. When you sit on a movie or a project or a creative endeavor for too long, it can kind of lose steam. It can kind of lose, its richness. And so to me, it was important, to get this done when we got it done and get it out, and then, leave myself open to other creative opportunities, which we are now. Crystal and I are already talking about the next thing that we're going to shoot here in Portland.
Nice. What is it about Portland that keeps you being here and filming here? What's the important thing for you, I guess, for anyone out there to know about filming in Portland?
Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of things. One, there's a lot of talent here. One, you can make non-union films here. Of course, I'm now venturing into making union projects. But I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm for film here. That also the Oregon Film Commission and their incentives, they're incredible. Tim Williams, the Oregon Film Office, works with filmmakers. He wants to get great art made here. And you can get him on the phone, Portland Prosper. I mean, there's just like the infrastructure in which to make films here it's very, they are in favor of the arts, and they tend to help artists here. Especially at this point, I've made so many movies here that I tend to find that I tend to get the help that I need when I'm making a feature film. Not to mention, there's numerous locations, within Oregon. They always say, we're an hour and a half away from the ocean, a few hours away from the desert, snow and mountains, or 45 to an hour away. I mean, there's just an abundance of so many locations you can film here. So, I mean, making movies in Oregon, it's just, I mean, I don't think I would have been able to make the movies I've made, the amount of movies I've made, if I was living anywhere else. I don't know that for sure, but to me, it just felt, I moved here to become a musician in 2005, and I joined a band. I started touring with that band, and when I realized I was not going to be able to support myself in that, just as a musician, I went to film school, and I made a film right out of film school, my debut, and it started my career as a film called The Falls. Which I made here in 2012, and ever since then I just haven't stopped, and I'm just kind of addicted to the whole process of making a movie, putting it all together.
I was going to say, that's some incredible drive to be putting one out every single year to do that.
That's what I try. That's what I try. There was a few years there's 3 years I didn't make a movie. I got caught in the commercial world during the pandemic. Of course, I actually had 3 films come out during the pandemic, because I made 3 movies in 1 year, which was kind of like, wow. Which was kind of nuts. It was kind of nuts. We shot Strictly for the Birds, and we shot Lose, both shot here 3 weeks apart. Lacey Todd was also producer of both those films. She was producing those films simultaneously. About 6 months later, I made a film called Love and Dangerous Times, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And so, some years I've made more than one, and some years I didn't make any at all. But just moving along, just making movies here.
That's amazing. I mean, so what does it feel like, today? Let's talk about the movie, because everybody can have a chance to go see it. What's it feel like today? It's out there streaming, and you tell me all the places it's streaming. But how is that feeling today, after all this work, to know that people can actually go out there and watch it right now?
I'm going to let Crystal talk about that while I look up all the platforms that it's streaming on.
I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm really hoping that my loved ones enjoy it, that friends and family, but I also am excited for people that I don't know at all to get to enjoy what we made. I feel like we've been keeping this little secret of what we made for almost a year now, because we shot September, October of last year. So today feels like a really big day. And I've been trying to figure out how to even celebrate it. It's like, do I watch the movie tonight? What do I do? I think gonna watch it and have a drink and cheers it, I really miss everyone in Portland, and it's really cool that now we get to share that experience with everyone. It really is.
It truly is. It's too bad we can't all go to Thunderbird tonight and
I
Right?
know.
Could do a screening there. Yeah.
yeah, do the screening there. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for everybody who worked on it. Some people I haven't had a chance to speak with, since the filming. Like Kevin Forrest, our DP, then the whole camera team. Lacey Todd and Joe Jatko, were two producers that were really keeping this thing going, throughout. And we had lots of things that went wrong, unexpected things that happened, and the two of them, just kept us rolling. Like I said, Lacey doing 3 different jobs at once. Our executive producers and William Fernandez and Carla Berkowitz, Michael Rubin, Robin Gorman, Anant Das, Jim Kirstead, all of them. I mean, they were the ones that were the financial backers of this thing and believed in it and took a chance on a movie about a Bigfoot and a cult, which sounds like a big risk, if you ask me, and I think, I'm excited, like what Crystal said, I'm excited for people to take a chance on this film and give it a watch. And I think there's a lot of, I was talking to my mom about this earlier. She's like, she's biased, but she's like, everything you make has, it's about love, and this film is it's not just a Sasquatch movie. There's something else happening in this film. There's a spirituality behind this. And love is also the foundation of this film as well. And so I'm really excited for people to watch it. I'm curious to know what they think. I've seen some good reviews. I've seen some bad reviews. And I'm ready for all of it. So
That's part of anything anything you do. That's on, that's out there for the public to see. There's always those. For people out there though, where is it? I know you're looking up the list of a couple of the places.
Yeah, I got it right here. So it's on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, Vudu, Microsoft, the Microsoft Store, Xbox, cable providers. It's on Comcast, Xfinity, Spectrum, Cox, Verizon, Shaw, also a number of smaller providers, and then also DirecTV, AT&T, Dish Network, and Sling TV. These are all video on demand, click and play providers for video on demand. And I think in November we're probably going to go to a streamer. I don't want to say which one yet because it's kind of up in the air which one it is, but we'll be going to a major streamer. Hopefully, it sounds like in November, December. So it'll have a lot more exposure then. But for now, people can just click and play on all those platforms I just mentioned.
Well, that's amazing. Congratulations, on all the success so far of just getting to this point, of having this out there. And now it's on so many different platforms. You got such sounds like a good future ahead for it. And everybody can go out there and watch it, Summoning the Spirit. I mean, an independent film, Bigfoot, a cult, filmed in Oregon. I mean, it's the perfect match. So congratulations on all of it. And, John and Crystal, thanks you so much for being here with me today, too, to talk about this. I know you've got probably a lot of interviews that you're doing, but thanks for taking some time to talk to me on here.
Of course, man. This has been great. I'm glad we pulled this together. This is exciting. Thank you.
It is. Yeah, congratulations to you both.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Greg.
You bet. And I'm just going to close out this show here really quick. So again, Greg Nibbler, this is Fox 12 Now. We live stream here every weekday, 1 p.m. Pacific. And then throughout there, we have all kinds of different things that we talk about, whether that's breaking news, taking deeper dives on news, or talking about things like this, a movie filmed here in Portland. So cool to talk to both of them. And all of those videos are on our Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel. You can go there and take a look at all the different interviews that I have. I'll be back here tomorrow. We're going to be talking about a bike ride for a nonprofit. We're going to be talking to the president of Hood to Coast. So that's all going to be on tomorrow's episode. And if there's breaking news, you can always come right here and find me. Send me an email, fox12now@kptv.com. But I'm going to sign off right now. Appreciate you all watching. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.